Welcome back. I'm Professor Donald Jones, and you're watching Connections, where we connect you to the world. I'm here with a distinguished panel of experts and friends, and we have on our line of march today to talk about an exciting piece of legislation called the DREAM Act.
DREAM Act.
And we're lucky to have an expert, Attorney Donette Love, to help us understand the importance of this legislation and where it is now.
Well, although I'll gladly wear the title of expert, I don't know if it's fitting, but I'm happy to talk about it because I think this is a wonderful piece of legislation. The DREAM Act, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's a piece of legislation that has come about a couple years ago. It's been up a few times and been shot down, but what it does is it will allow any person that was in the United States illegally prior to the age of 16, it will give them, and are undocumented, it will give them an opportunity to become United States citizens ultimately. Some of the basic requirements are they have to have a clean criminal history. They have to have had no contact with criminal contact with the law. And they have to commit to at least 2 years in college or 2 years in the military. Now today, was a big day for this particular bill. And when I say today, I mean Wednesday, December 8th. Was a big day. It was voted on at 6:30. And we don't know what's happened yet. We haven't gotten those results yet. But here's what the big thing is with this bill, is that this is the last chance for this bill to be passed through before the Republicans take the House over next year.
And we know that they're very conservative and they're an anti-immigrant movement.
Absolutely. In fact, the Republicans see the DREAM Act as a reward for illegal immigrants. And I don't agree with that. I mean, most of the people that are going to benefit from the DREAM Act are children, are young people that were here before they even had a choice. They came in with their parents who probably came in undocumented or illegally. And they didn't have a say in the matter. So they're here in this country. They've attended school. Most of them have done very well in school. And so now they're done with high school, or they're approaching that age where they're going to be done with high school. And they're not going to be able to go to college because they are undocumented. They can't get driver's license. They can't participate in higher education.
So really, this was an easy case. We're at a point in a recession where we need people who can contribute to the economy.
Absolutely.
And these are people who are primed and ready to be a supply of talent, a human resource that could be productive for the next 30 to 40 years to replenish an aging workforce. And nonetheless, the bill is threatened by ideological issues. Right.
So one of the arguments that the Republicans are making is that, well, you know, we need to be more concerned about protecting our borders rather than focusing on this kind of legislation. And they see it as amnesty. That's really not what it is.
So they think in terms of punishment rather than productivity. Let me turn to Attorney Main, Natasha Main, with the vivacious personality. What do you think about? Do you think that it is fair to blame the children for the choices of their parents?
I think that is totally inane. And I think something like the DREAM Act is phenomenal. I think those who qualify for it are already on a great path. For the fact that they have been in this country and there's no criminal record, they must commit to 2 years of college or the military. That means they look like they're going to be productive members of our society. And we need individuals like that. So as far as the Republicans being against this, there's no reason why except for being anti-immigrant, truly. So I just think this is phenomenal. No criminal history, must go to college.
And really,
that's the road to
Sorry,
go ahead.
And really, what are these children going to do when they turn 18 and graduate from high school anyway? You know, if they're going to be here,
correct.
a child who has been here for 18 years, you can't say, okay, well, now you need to go back to Mexico. They don't have family there probably anymore. They've never lived there. They don't know there. So, you know, it would be best to put them into our society as legal citizens, allow them to pay into our tax system because we can use that, and, you know, let them be productive citizens. They're here. They're probably not going to leave. And if they allow them to contribute.
And what would be the impact of forcing them to be undocumented? They can't go to college. They
a life of
can't
crime,
work.
a life of sleaziness, a life of underhanded mentality because they can't be a productive member of society.
Well, let me turn to Tracy Prosper,
you know, I have a
nurse
question,
with the soft,
actually.
compassionate heart.
I tried, you know, but I wanted to ask this question. Is there a particular nationality that qualifies for this?
No.
Or
You just have to be an immigrant.
So how do they
Undocumented.
inform? How do they get informed of
that this act exists?
yes, and then when does it expire?
Well,
You know that?
well, as far as it expiring, it's not been passed yet. Nothing's been passed at this point.
Okay.
And you know, how do people learn about it? Through their representatives, their state representatives, because that's who you need to contact to make sure that they know that you're behind this bill. But that's a way. And then advocates for this bill, like you and I, like all of us, have the ability to get the word out about this bill so that this can be passed. Now, we talk about bills. Professor Jones, I'm going to defer to you since you're the con man. You're the constitutional guru over here. In fact, you teach constitutional law. Can you explain or expand a little bit on what happens after a bill is passed, what a bill is, and what happens after it's passed? What happens next?
A bill is a piece of legislation. It's a proposed law that has to conform to certain formalities. And it has to go before a committee. And the committee has to approve it, and once it comes out of committee, it goes before the full House. If the House approves it, then it has to go to the Senate, and they have to go through a similar process. And if the Senate approves it, then it goes to the President, who can either veto it or approve it as well. This would be one that Obama certainly would approve. The question is, can we get it even out of the House?
Right.
And we're now in a period of our political history where there is what I would call an anti-immigrant story, a divisive story that if immigrants get rights, then those rights come at the expense of everyone else. And so, unfortunately, sometimes immigrants are helpful. We're a nation of immigrants. And this is a situation where you have people who, where the bill is so exclusive, it's only for those who are actually cherry-picked to be productive. They say you've got to commit to going to college. You can't have a criminal history. So this is like the best and the brightest. We only have a short amount of time. Dr. Main, did you have further thoughts? Attorney Main, did you have further thoughts on this? This issue?
I just think it is such a beautiful law in and of itself. I think America was built on immigrants. My parents are immigrants. You know, I'm a child of immigrants to this country. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone in my family that hasn't come here as an immigrant and done well. We all went to college. We all did something positive. I don't know what South Florida would be like without me. You know?
Oh my God! I knew it was coming. I knew you could feel that.
I just think it's a very. I think it's a beautiful law overall, and I look forward to it. It's a dream act. Absolutely, it's a dream act.
Well, I look forward to bringing an update on how things went, and we're hoping for the best, but. We'll be following this in weeks to come, so we'll be sure to let our audience know what is going on with the bill.
Well, I mean, this certainly, Dr. Kirwan, did you have some closing thoughts on this?
I would just echo the sentiments of the panel.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, once again, you're watching Connections, where we connect you to the world, discussing the DREAM Act, the issue of immigration, and how in this particular case. A bill that would allow the children of undocumented people to come in and help us through a difficult time in our economy. You're watching Connections. We have to take a break at this time.